It's a typical Madison Saturday with the snow outside the Kohl Center and inside both Wisconsin and Ohio State. Desperate for a win, trying to get their seasons out of the deep freeze. Welcome to the Kohl Center in Madison, and welcome to the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. We begin a quadruple header of terrific basketball games today on ESPN, highlighted, of course, by Kansas beating a revitalized Texas team at 4, and then at 6:30, the main event from the Carrier Dome, Duke and Syracuse. First things first, though, Ohio State has lost 5 of 6. Wisconsin has lost 4 of 5. They have moved back to the middle of the pack. Everyone chasing Michigan and Michigan State in the Big Ten. Again, everyone, Bob Wischusen alongside Dan Dakich. This game 3 weeks ago would have been number 3 against number 4 in America. Now both of these teams just trying to stay ranked. Things have gone awry. How important does that make this game today?
Oh my gosh, this is huge. I don't know that we've ever seen a drop like this in the top, from the top 5 to now out of the polls. This game is huge for a couple of reasons. You know, Wisconsin has some pretty good wins. They're trying to stay in the Big Ten race. Ohio State doesn't have very many good wins. They need a big win to solidify their NCAA tournament berth. I think they're probably out of it in the Big Ten race, but you got to get in the NCAA tournament. You got to get some wins.
Well, looking at our one-on-one, it just illustrates how unusual these current losing streaks and bad starts are for both of these guys.
My favorite poem is "If" by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, that's what happens in college athletics. Look, Thad Matta and Bo Ryan are not losing their heads. I talked before the game, hey, we'll be fine. We just got to keep playing, keep doing what we do. But you know, fan bases, they're all blaming those two guys.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Michelin. First of all, for Ohio State, they need better from LaQuinton Ross, averaging over 14 points per game. And for Wisconsin, Ben Brust, Frank Kaminsky, Sam Decker, Josh Gosser, they're all mired in three-point shooting slumps. Should be a good one today at the Kohl. The Grateful Red is ready early. And we'll find out early on how ready these two teams are. What has made it so offensively challenged for both of these squads of late?
Well, two things. Actually, the same thing. You know, you mentioned the shooting slump. 3 for 17, Decker, Gosser, and Brust for Wisconsin. And then for Ohio State, there's no driving lanes because nobody respects the outside shooting. And this kid right here, Smith, needs to do that. He needs to make.
And then the tip putback is good for Amir Williams off the Lenzel Smith miss.
That's massive. Amir Williams had double digits, but he hasn't been very good, in my opinion, lately. To get him off to a good start would be huge for Ohio State.
Shot clock down to 10 as Trayvon Jackson goes one-on-one and picks up his dribble with the shot clock now at 5. Decker will have to try and create. That's stripped away. Good hands by LaQuinton Ross. Sam Thompson has it knocked out, and it lands up against the leg of Sam Thompson out of bounds, but Ray Perrone says it will stay with the Buckeyes. And for Bo Ryan, 308 total wins. Obviously, this is a team that normally has been unbeatable at home. 9-1 against Ohio State at the Kohl Center, but their last loss in this building, their worst shooting performance of the season, on Wednesday against Northwestern.
Yeah, they're on 2 straight home losses, which I don't think has ever happened for Ohio State before.
Foul called on the drive on Decker, so Ross will go to the free throw line. And Thad Matta, you talked before the game with him about all the winning he has done, and in the midst of this losing streak, how he deals with it.
Yeah, he just, you know, rights the ship. He felt like if they were getting blown out, maybe he'd have a different approach. But, you know, 11-point lead late against Penn State. They were up against Nebraska after being down early. He feels like his team's all right. Look, as I said, everybody around him is losing their mind. You know, fan bases always lose their mind when you lose games, but those two guys, they don't panic. They've been through this before. They've started poorly, as we showed in the opening graphic, and ended up just fine. I love the way Ohio State's come out here, though. They've got great bounce to them.
Nigel Hayes faces up. He'll take the baby jumper, and that gets the Badgers on the board.
Well, that was great offense by Hayes. Just a little inside pivot. He sized up Amir Williams. As good as offense as it was as bad a defense. Williams has to come out, use his length, and affect the shot.
Nigel Hayes averaging 9 points per game and about 52% from the field in Big Ten competition. He's after Kraft here, but it's out of bounds off Wisconsin.
This is really nice. Just get it, open up, or reverse pivot, excuse me. Look, Williams' hands are kind of up, but not really. You know, that's the frustration for Thad Matta and his staff. The one guy that's still playing and playing like he, giving extra effort is still Kraft. And there, Williams didn't do it.
Lenzel Smith off balance, but tracks down his own miss. Amir Williams, the old school hook won't go.
Pretty nice move, though. Assuming he's worked on it, assuming that he didn't just invent it right there, it's a great move. I think he did it against Illinois here the other night, so it's something that he and Dave Dickerson, the big man coach, have been working on.
Ross steps back, rattles home a triple.
Water finds its level. So I mentioned the three guys, 3 for 17. It wouldn't surprise me if they ended up with a 14 for 17 night. Things have a tendency to even out when you're good enough.
Jackson caught on the Quentin Ross. Ross takes him into the paint and then turns it over. Big difference between how Jackson played Ross and how Amir Williams played Hayes. Jackson was really aggressive and made Ross put the ball on the floor and then kept his feet moving, forcing a travel. That's what I'm talking about when you guard a guy in the mid-post. The more active and aggressive you are with your hands and continue to move your feet, the more difficult it is for the offensive player. Decker and Gosser to the bench. Bronson Koenig on for the first time. He's got the ball for the Badgers. Also back in Kaminsky. Decker called his teammates out this past week for their effort as Kaminsky goes to the basket. Nice up fake. And he'll go to the free throw line as Amir Williams is called for the foul. When you have watched Wisconsin, are those comments from Decker warranted? Have you seen a let-up in terms of effort, or is it just poor shooting?
Well, I didn't necessarily think he called him out. He just kind of gave a state of what Wisconsin was about, basically saying that we're supposed to be about toughness, we're supposed to be about heart, and we haven't been that. I think shooting's a part of it, but I do say this, Bob. Wisconsin, even though their numbers look okay, haven't been very good defensively. And that is who and what Wisconsin is. And Decker was absolutely right. They have been about toughness. People have always complained about how physical Wisconsin is, and they're not doing that this year.
Well, Decker said teams are coming in, punching us in the mouth, and we're not punching back. We're being soft. We're being unaggressive.
Right.
I don't know. To me, that kind of seems like a player calling his teammates out.
I disagree with that. I think that's just saying the state of how it is. I mean, including himself. He's not saying that these other guys are having it. He's saying, us. So I like that. That's fine. But there you go. They're getting punched right here.
Lenzel Smith couldn't hit on the putback attempt. This is a 7-0 Wisconsin run. Jackson will try to add to it, and he'll go to the line to do just that as Aaron Kraft is called for the foul.
I'm a Kraft fan, and I got to tell you, I have absolutely no idea how that referee could have made that call. Now watch this. Here's a drive, and the referee from way out here makes the call with a referee sitting underneath the basket looking dead at it. Now, he may have gotten him on the head. But I don't know how you make that call from there.
Kraft out, Shannon Scott on. And Wisconsin continues their run after they trailed 4-0 to start the game. Now it's a 9-0 Badgers sprint to take the 9-4 lead. Ross, too strong off the window. The put back inside is good, though, for Trey McDonald.
Man, how big would that be? for Ohio State, if they can start getting production from Trey McDonald, a junior who should have redshirted his freshman year, didn't want to. Well, that would be enormous to get some production there.
He doesn't even average 2 points a game, but he's got 2 now. Kaminsky fouled by Ross. So Frank Kaminsky to the line when we come back. Wisconsin with the early 3-point lead. All eyes will be on from the Kohl Center starting the day to the Carrier Dome wrapping things up tonight.
The Carrier Dome. A record crowd looks to rip off the roof. Boeheim, Krzyzewski. Jabari Parker battles fellow freshman Tyler Ennis as a new rivalry in the ACC is born. Duke, Syracuse, 6:30 on ESPN.
One of the remaining unbeatens, Syracuse, and off to a terrific start again under Jim Boeheim.
Coolest man in college basketball right there. You know, a lot of these college basketball coaches acted like they invented the game or the school couldn't exist without him. Boeheim, the exact opposite. Last night, he gave a great speech at a fundraiser. Raised $100,000 in an hour. Vanessa Williams was there, former Miss America, and he was talking about how other programs need the money more than him. You know, we need to help all the other programs, softball, field hockey, whatever. Just a great, great guy. Totally unpretentious, no ego. Didn't build the university, although he probably did. Just the best guy, I think, in college hoops.
Kaminsky's free throws put him on the bench as he's immediately replaced by Sam Decker. Duye Dukin comes on as well for the first time for Wisconsin. So Bo Ryan liberally to his bench in the first 5 minutes.
When you can't shoot, there's no driving out. You see all the guys right there. There's no out.
Scott tries from the outside, and he's got it along 2.
So you got to shoot over, and that's a good shot. Scott knocks it in, but quite frankly, Ohio State, that's the shot they've been living and dying with, mostly dying here of late. Can't get in gaps because there's no gaps.
Back cut for Decker.
Decker set a heck of a screen, then he slipped to the rim. Nigel Hayes found him. Great move.
Scott, another deep one. In and out this time. Ball movement to Brust in the corner. He's 2 for 2 after going 5 for 20 from 3 over his last 3 games. And Thad Matta wants a timeout. We'll step aside for 30 seconds and be back. Largest lead for Wisconsin. Defensive breakdowns for Ohio State. Inside the play with Dan Dakich.
And uncharacteristic, you're going to see right there, Sam Decker. Now watch, he's just going to set a screen. LaQuinton Ross and Lizelle Smith Jr. get confused. And when you get confused, you give up a layup, and then LaQuinton Ross goes with "my bad." That's the most frustrating phrase in coaching, "my bad." It's like, okay, really? Well, he acknowledges it now.
There's a back cut and an and one for Trey McDonald. He'll go to the line now with a chance for a 3-point play.
Sorry, Bob. That was the same kind of movement, a little down screen. Nigel Hayes helped a little bit too much. He jumped the screen. He wasn't switching. You're going to see it right here. Nigel Hayes jumps out, and Trey McDonald with a really good move. Watch right here. Nigel Hayes jumps out. Great pass by Shannon Scott. Koenig over a little late. 3-point play.
McDonald can't finish, but he only averages 1.8 points per game. He's got 4 points now in the first 6 minutes.
And I don't blame Thad Matta for playing McDonald. You know, you can only go with guys so long. And Amir Williams, all right, but he doesn't add anything in terms of, like, grit and energy. And when you don't, you become a drain on other people.
Nice shovel underneath, but good hands by Mark Loving to avoid a dunk. 10 to shoot for Wisconsin. Koenig now with 5 to shoot. to Kaminsky. And he turns it over. Steps for Kaminsky. Well, tonight the NBA is at the Garden at 8:30. LeBron and the Heat take on Carmelo and the Knicks. It's NBA Super Weekend presented by State Farm. Miami, New York tonight from the Garden at 8:30 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN.
A couple weeks ago, I was ripping the Knicks. Knicks won 9 games before January 1st. In January, they've won 10. So I feel personally responsible for their improvement. They have paid attention.
Delavallee can't hit. Well, I think Mike Woodson mentioned you in his post-game press conference after their 5th straight win the other day.
Yeah, after he slammed his hand on the table, and then he said, Doncic is right again. Mike Woodson, one of the most underappreciated great players in the history of the Big Ten.
I'm sure by the time February's over, you'll be able to rip the Knicks again. As you said, water finds its level. Just give it some time. Decker out of the double team. Trayvon Jackson, 5 to shoot. Ball movement to the corner. Gosser's shot, in and out, but the follow is thrown down by Decker. Shannon Scott, bounce pass broken up, but a foul call.
Hey, you called it calling out your teammates. I called it calling out the whole team, but either way, Decker needs to play, right? And one of the great ways to play is to go to the offensive glass. And Decker, with terrific athletic ability, length, and size, is what he needs to do. Everybody will play off that kind of work.
That was not a foul, but a kickball called against Wisconsin. Kraft acting for his team to get some motion going offensively. Shot clock at 10. Kraft goes right at Kaminsky, gives it up. Delavallee muscles it up, in, plus the foul.
Wow. Delavallee comes in as a shooter. And that's why he's in the game, to spread the defense a little bit. But twice the other night against Penn State and then right here, he put the ball on the floor and went by a defender. Now, again, Decker's going to call out the team. He got to be able to keep Delavallee in front of him, but credit Delavallee for adding this to his game, going to the rim.
That's Decker's 2nd foul, so he sits down not even 8 minutes in.
Tell you what, I love to see guys extend their games, and Delavallee was just a shooter. But now, 3 times 2 games, a game and a third, he's gone to the rim. Nice.
Thad Matta talked about how well he played for the under-20 team for Italy in the European Championships last summer. Backdoor cut for Brust. Jackson, baby jumper, and he knocks it down.
Terrific decision by Trey Jackson. Instead of just taking a shot that he wasn't real comfortable with, went to a spot that he is comfortable with, and a bad decision there by Shannon Scott.
Brust, no good. His first miss from downtown. He's now 2 for 3. Delavallee left alone. In rhythm, hits a triple.
That's why he's in there. As I said earlier, Thad Matta knows there have been no gaps because there has been no shooting. But Delavallee, the best shooter on the team, caught it in rhythm. Kraft delivered it, knocked it in.
Amadeo Delavallee and Trey McDonald earning some playing time for Thad Matta. Kaminsky out of the double team to Brust. It's a little too strong. Kraft from the free throw line, no good.
Yeah, he knew it was no good either. The ball kind of out of his hand weird, and he ran backwards.
To shoot. Bullet pass to Hayes. Draws the foul on Williams. He'll shoot free throws when we come back. Midway through the half, Williams with his 2nd foul.
Yeah, a little mid-range jumper. This is Trey Jackson's comfort level. Turn down a 3 to go in the lane. Just do what you do. Here's what Delavallee does. Kraft finds him, Steps into his three. When you do what you do, good things happen. Do what you do.
Bob Wischusen, Dan Dakich back in Madison, and Dan takes us inside the play.
You know, in this game, try to not watch the ball sometime. Ball movement pretty good, which results in this. You see 3 Ohio State guys right here, which allows Decker, surprisingly enough, to go to the rim. The ball is swung. 3 Ohio State guys, everybody's discombobulated. Nobody gets back to Decker. Well, that just happened here, where Gosser found Nigel Hayes. Because of the confusion with Ohio State's defense, Gosser found Hayes, and now Hayes is going to the foul line. It's really kind of interesting. If you can make yourself not watch the ball and just watch Ohio State in the lane, they're not rotating great, and it's killing their defense.
Decker, though, with 2 fouls. He's on the bench. Went to the bench just before we got to the under 12 timeout, so we'll see if at some point Bo Ryan opts to bring him back here in the first half, depending on time and score. Maybe he might be done for the rest of the first half. Get to save that foul trouble for half number 2.
Yeah, again, you said it depends on time and score. You know, Bo had a short leash today. First possession of the game, Kaminsky gets knocked down, so he has to go sit. Decker with 2 fouls. I would guess if they can maintain this kind of advantage and play fairly well, that'll be the last of Decker for the first half.
Quentin Ross has been on the bench for a while as well for Ohio State. Delavallee from NBA range buries it.
Oh, yeah, and he went 3 goggles after he did it, too. Nothing more fun than 3 goggles. What that tells you is that Delavallee is feeling it. He's back to playing, like you said, this summer in the under-20 team for Italy. Confident.
He averaged 13 a game in those U20 European Championships. He's got 9 here in the first half.
They got to go on the block here to Kaminsky. They got to clear out the backside and go on the block. Kaminsky's got love and no match.
Trey Jackson needs some help. Throws it to nowhere. Bad loves the defensive intensity as they create the turnover, number 3, for a team that turns it over less than any other team in college basketball.
Bob, have you ever done this?
All the time.
So much fun. I play every Wednesday night with a bunch of, big guys. And when I knock in a 3, it's double 3 goggles, and I'm telling you, it's a blast.
Yeah, when I wall off my 9-year-old and hang from the rim on the Nerf hoop, that's more my move. A turnover by the Buckeyes. These are 2 teams that don't turn it over often. No one turns it over less than Wisconsin at 8.3 per game. Hayes, reach foul. Wave off the dunk, says Ray Perrone, and the push by Trey McDonald.
Trey McDonald got a little too close to Nigel Hayes and totally uncomfortable going out and playing defense at the free throw or at the 3-point line.
Tough catch. Delavallee allows the bullet pass to Brust. Too strong, and then Delavallee has the rebound.
Now, those are the shots that Wisconsin missed against Northwestern.
Good defense in transition, though, for the Badgers. Hayes gets the takeaway.
I'm telling you, the key to Ohio State, just watching here early, is Shannon Scott. Shannon Scott, when he gets really active, I've been disappointed in his defense the last few games. And there, he just turned it over. Shannon Scott plays well, and more importantly, when he plays tough, they're really good. Like that, jumping up with a 7-footer. Again, Bob, when you watch, try not to watch the ball. This is like a game in '85. Everybody from Wisconsin is inside the lane. There's no driving room at all.
Delavallee lost it, tips it to himself. It away, 10 to shoot, and Kraft wants a screen from McDonald. Goes the other way, offensive foul. Ben Brust got position and drew the charge.
Great call, absolute great call. Ben Brust moved his feet. Aaron Kraft put his, right there, put his shoulder down. Easy call for a ref, go the other way.
It's cold if you can play ice chess. And that is a cold spot. You dig your own igloo, you drop a line in the water. And speaking of coming from the cold and heating things up, how about all these Seahawks will be playing tomorrow and coaching in the Super Bowl at MetLife Stadium. Darrell Bevell, of course, the offensive coordinator. Russell Wilson spending a year here as the quarterback. And Montee Ball, let's not forget, he's going to be playing a few snaps for the Denver Broncos, so plenty of whiskey alums in the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Plenty of whiskey, I'm sure, during that snow chess game as well, in whiskey.
Wisconsin coming up on 4.5 minutes without a field goal. They've missed their last 4 field goal attempts. And Kaminsky can't break the drought.
Yeah, that's going to be there all day. That shot has to be made by Kaminsky. He's had it early. And as the game wears on, he's going to have it more and more and more.
Another reset with the shot clock winding down. 2 fouls now, by the way, on Aaron Craft. Lenzel Smith Jr. forces one. Too strong. Offensive rebound. LaQuinton Ross tied up by Gasser. And the possession arrow will give it to the Badgers. And conference play continues today with a doubleheader on ESPN at 4. Andrew Wiggins and the Jayhawks head to Austin to take on the revitalized Longhorns. And then at 6:30, it's the main event. The clash in the Carrier Dome. CJ Fair and the Orange taking on Jabari Parker and the Blue Devils. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy and Saturday Primetime presented by DirecTV.
I got a feeling.
First make in 6 field goal attempts for Wisconsin as Brust hits.
I was just going to say, I got a feeling Brust can hit a shot, but I was not going to say that. I got a feeling that Duke is going to beat up on Syracuse pretty good tonight.
Wow. On the road.
Yeah.
Explain.
I just think Duke is playing really well. Syracuse has had battles constantly, and I loved the way that Duke played, particularly the second half against Pittsburgh. It looked like Duke. That's way off.
Della Valle's heat check was about as cold as the ice chest scene we just saw outside.
Well, when you go get beer goggles, or 3 goggles, I guess not beer goggles, 3 goggles, you know the crowd's going to come after you when you miss. He missed that. Way left. That ball hooked.
That was good, though. That was a Dan Dockich Omaha at the line. You audibled.
We don't need the apology card, do we?
Deep. And that long 2 goes for Bronson Koenig.
Only played 4 minutes, Koenig did. Really good shooter. They've been so happy with him, but only got 4 minutes of time against Northwestern. Looking really confident there.
Valle stumbles, gets it to Scott. What a ball fake on the way to the bucket.
Telling you, he can really play, but he, in my opinion, has not played hard enough over the past 5-6 games. Don't know the reason, just know he hasn't. And he is absolutely the key, in my opinion, to Ohio State turning this season around.
Ray Jackson, finger roll, roll off.
I got caught in between. Do I bank or do I lay it in over the front? When you're caught in between, always bank.
Gasser called for the foul on the drive by LaQuinton Ross. So Ross will go to the free throw line.
The reason you always bank, Bob, is you have a margin for error. Shoot it harder. You know, when you're going fast and you're off balance and you're confused, you have a tendency to short on. Confusion equals bank shot.
Quentin Ross has upped his offensive production year by year, as you can see. He's been in double figures 11 of Ohio State's last 12 games. But this is a team that struggled to score at times. Now Sam Decker will come back on with 2 fouls. Trey Jackson sits down. Bronson Koenig stays in the game, so he'll run the point. And Kaminsky goes back to the bench for the Badgers. A pair at the line for Ross.
That'll be interesting. I would think that Decker may guard. I would think he would guard Della Well, I'm thinking here. Della Valle, because he's shooting the basketball, you don't want to put Decker in a position to foul. So Linzel Smith's going to drive it. Della Valle would be the guy, because you're not going to play zone.
A pair of freshmen play catch in the corner, but Hayes' pass for Koenig knocked out of bounds with 14 to shoot.
If the ball stays one-sided for Wisconsin, that's when you know they're struggling offensively. If the ball doesn't move side to side, it's a problem for Wisconsin.
Koenig with 7 to shoot, picks up his dribble. Now it's Decker, 4 to shoot. He'll have to put one up. Drives, floats left, shoots back to the right, and Linzel Smith has the rebound.
Ball never got from the right side to the left side the entire possession.
Linzel Smith dribbles into a wall of Badgers, shut down by Nigel Hayes. Koenig from the corner. Wisconsin has now missed their last 6 threes, and that's been a consistent problem for them.
Without question, and the shots that they like, when you watch Wisconsin practice, top of the key and corner are their 2 shots.
Ross back to the free throw line. They've got that foul on Bronson Koenig. We'll step aside, a 3-point game. We got Coach Greenberg, Coach Pearl here with Coach Dakich in Madison, and you can see a good lineup of games coming up, culminating with Duke at Syracuse, and you're pretty confident that Coach K and the Blue Devils get the job done on the road tonight.
Look, C.J. Fair is a kid that I have as a first-team All-American. I absolutely love the job Jim Boeheim has done this year. I have. Trevor Cooney has been great. The freshman Tyler Ennis, I said back in December, he's the most valuable freshman in the country. But I just absolutely love the toughness that Duke showed against Pittsburgh. I do. And 35,000 is going to be unbelievable tonight. Can't wait. But I like Duke tonight.
And in the absence of having that traditional big man that Mike Krzyzewski usually has had, Jabari Parker has turned into a bit of a double-double machine.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of big men, Keita and Christmas, 16 and 10 the other night against Pittsburgh. Now, you get those two going, like a little bit like Morgan and Wolford at Michigan with McGarry out. They've been 17 and 10 every night. That's an all-conference player.
Now you're backtracking. Now you like Syracuse.
No. I like those 2 guys, but tonight it's not going to matter. Because those 2 guys are going to have to guard on the perimeter, and they can't do it. Duke's going to win by double digits.
Ross has to force one up, and a foul called on LaQuinton Ross with 1 second on the shot clock.
That's just unfortunate. Ross was trying to hustle. First off, Ross isn't good enough to tell his coach that I don't want to come out, number 1. Number 2, he just got into a situation where, he just ran into Brust. He was going for the ball and cost him a foul, cost him coming out, and cost probably 2 points.
So Ross goes to the bench. That's team foul number 7 against Wisconsin, and it's against the wrong guy. As now a 95% free throw shooter goes to the line. And Wisconsin is now 9 for 9 as a team at the line.
That's his 18th straight free throw. Brust. I love the way this kid's played. Committed to Iowa initially. When the coaching change came, he ends up here. He's rebounded. He's been tough. He's waited his turn. Didn't play much as a freshman. He's had a terrific career and a terrific winner.
Both teams effective at the line so far. That bounce pass hits the knees of Mark Lovin. Held ball, stays with the Buckeyes.
You just can't do this. Last possession, Shannon Scott took his time, made a nice pass. Here you're just firing a low bounce pass below the knee on a skip. Now that's the inconsistency. I think Shannon Scott is a terrific player. But his decision making from possession to possession has really lacked. And when he gets that straightened out, and he's had it straightened out before, Ohio State, and he will take off. Let's think about it. He made a great move previous possession. 2 possessions before that, he takes a bad shot, and then he does it. So it's consistency possession by possession.
Shannon Scott gets committed. He caught on a switch, and then throws it between Kaminsky's legs. The bounce pass to McDonald, right between the legs of Frank Kaminsky.
How good was that? Seriously. How good was that? That's possession by possession is what I'm talking about. Kid can really play.
Here's a SportsCenter Top 10 nominee, if you ever saw one. Frank Kaminsky, right through the wickets.
Ball's great. That is a great pass and a pretty good finish too, right?
Hello.
Right.
Goodbye. And 6 points now for Trey McDonald.
Trey McDonald's been pretty good in this game. Been very, very valuable coming out, but man, he deserves a hand from the Ohio State faithful. He's been big time so far.
How about this group on the floor now for Thad Matta? This is about as small as I think the Buckeyes could be. It's nothing but guards. And Aaron Craft isn't even one of them.
I think you got to attack Kaminsky here with Loving on the perimeter.
Mark Loving's the tallest Buckeye on the floor at 6'7". Delavale, just a little too strong with the left hand.
Again, the ball never swung. It stayed left side. The more you watch basketball, the more you realize ball stays on one side, shots don't go in.
Kaminsky has Shannon Scott on his hip. Can they get him the ball? Gasser fouled by Lenzel Smith. And that will put Josh Gasser on the line. That's the first on Lenzel Smith.
The Ohio State fouls on number 32, Smith, his first as he is 9th. At the line for the Rangers, Josh Gasser shooting 1 and 1.
Gasser, an 88% free throw shooter. He's number 1 in the Big Ten, but only because Ben Brust came into today without enough makes to qualify for that statistic. So you've got two guards on the floor that shoot 88 and 95% respectively at the line.
That's why it's obviously cute.
And the announcer jinx.
Oh, it was coming no
Works
matter
to
what.
perfection.
But that's why it's so important for Wisconsin to get up late. You know, they're going to play 3 guards. They're going to handle the ball. They don't turn the ball over, and they make free throws. Hard to beat.
Just basically the game you expected to see to this point?
Yeah, I think so. You know, both teams a little bit unsure of themselves. Coming off losses, but playing hard, playing a little bit desperate.
Kaminsky with the smaller Loving. In the post, across the lane, draws the foul.
You know, off the ball, it's huge here. Nigel Hayes kind of puts Thompson in a little bit of a trick bag because Hayes goes to the rim. Now Thompson can help, but he's a little bit leery because if Kaminsky drops it down. So the decision has to be made by Thad Matta in this with this lineup. Are we going to straight double Kaminsky, or are we going to play it like that and just not foul?
A pair at the line for Kaminsky.
I just think Kaminsky for Wisconsin to win has got to come up huge in this game. And again, for Ohio State, I think it's Shannon Scott.
Loving with the left hand just rolls off the rim. Hustle play in the corner. Sam Thompson kept it alive, and it's out of bounds off of Hayes.
Well, that was the move. They got Loving against Kaminsky, and Loving put it on the rim. Nice move, and then Sam Thompson, the crowd didn't like it, but Sam Thompson hustling the rebound down. It was definitely Ohio State's ball.
Shannon Scott over Hayes. Got it.
He just sized him up right there. Ball screen. Wisconsin switched. Hayes on to Scott. Scott just bounced in and knocked it in.
Wisconsin without a field goal over 5 minutes now. About a 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. So Gasser backs it out and will dribble the clock down as much as he can. To shoot. Trey Jackson 5 to shoot. Spins off glass, no good. Kaminsky finds Brust. Oh, a little alley-oop, up and in. Scott from midcourt, good if it goes. And it's a 4-point lead for Wisconsin at the break.
Yeah, Kaminsky made a nice play, and Brust didn't stand. End of the clock, big guy had the ball. Ended up making a play, or excuse me, Jackson did. Kaminsky came in and made a heck of a play, not forcing things. And Brust, don't stand when you play basketball. There's never a time to stand.
4-point game at halftime. Bram Weinstein now with our Mazda halftime report.
Thank you for our world-class facilities.
Welcome back to the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. A 4-point lead for Wisconsin over Ohio State as we're set for the start of the second half. Although the shooting woes continuing for both teams. A low-scoring first half. And as we take a look at the numbers put up even by Wisconsin, they're the team in the lead. 2 of 8 from three-point land, 25%. They shot no better in their home loss to Northwestern on Wednesday night. And Dan Dakich, this continues to be a problem for Bo Ryan's team, trying to get on track from behind the arc.
Those are where they want shots from. We talked about it in the broadcast. Top of the key and in the corner, they've gotten good looks, just haven't knocked them in. Eventually they are, and somebody's going to pay for it for Wisconsin. You hope it's the second half. For Ohio State's got nothing out of their starters. 8 points, that's it. That is all. 21 out of their bench, out of guys like Shannon Scott, who should play well, Della Valle, and Trey McDonald. Now, Aaron Craft's got to play this second half, only 10 minutes. He wasn't very good. Got to play.
Just from a fan standpoint, we're 20 minutes away from one set of fans continuing to panic about the free fall that their team is in, and the other set of fans breathing a huge sigh of relief because this is really a crucial game for both teams. Ohio State comes into today losing 5 of their last 6. Wisconsin has lost 4 of their last 5. You just don't see that out of either of these programs, ever.
As we said earlier, all the people around the programs are in a panic and losing their head, not the coaches.
Jumper hit by Trayvon Jackson to start the second half and open up a 6-point Wisconsin lead.
Tough shot, but he knocked it in. Jackson's a mid-range shooter. Somebody has to step up here for both teams. Jackson would be a good choice.
Amir Williams around Kaminsky.
That was pretty nice. Pretty nice. My favorite move in basketball. Down screen, tight cut. The guy receiving the pass, the cutter, throws it back to the screen. That's a great move, and Amir Williams finished nicely.
Second field goal for Amir Williams. It's a 4-point game. Jackson again. This time the touch pass from Gasser to Brust.
It's one thing to miss. There's 3 ways you want to miss. You want to miss short, dead on, long, or in and out. Okay? When you miss left or right, which Brust just did there, it's a real problem. You know, the ball's either coming off your hand wrong, your feet are pushing you one way or another. It's a real problem when it's left or right.
Over the backboard, no good?
Well, that's long.
Generally speaking, that seems to upset my teammates, because normally my misses bounce off the shot clock. Quentin Ross, a little fade away in the lane, and it's a 2-point game.
Yeah, just doing what he does well. You know, backed his guy, used his size into the lane, shot over him.
Gasser, a little jump stop, pump faking, and Amir Williams stays home and just stuffs it back. And then an air ball from the corner by Trey Jackson. Out of bounds with 9 to shoot. It stays with the Badgers.
Gasser's pretty clever inside, but Williams just put his hands up, didn't even jump, blocked the shot.
I'm tall, you're short. Why would I fall for any of these fakes?
Yeah, I'm not going for nothing. Tough.
Not called.
And tough to get it inbound. And you could tell the way they jumped off the bench, they worked and talked about being tougher defensively, Ohio State. Pretty good set right there. Pretty good defense that entire possession by Ohio State. And from this standpoint, obviously with the shot clock going down, it's good defense. But a block shot and then great pressure. Nobody got beat in penetration.
Quentin Ross muscling Gasser down
That's
on the block.
offensive foul. That's bad call. That's bad no call right there. He pushed off twice, and then he went to the elbow, the little wing.
Jackson pulled the string a bit. That's 6 straight misses for Wisconsin.
And that's what I said. Sam Thompson with the previous block affected Trey Jackson right there. Trey Jackson saw Thompson coming, and as you said, Bob, pulled the string. That's why I said that last possession was a big-time possession defensively for Ohio State.
This is the first time the game has been tied, and now Amir Williams draws the foul on Kaminsky.
And that's a bad call, too, because Amir Williams hooked him as well. This is a bad call. These referees make too much money to miss this. How do you miss that? And that was after 2 push-offs by Ross, and then they missed it again, and you see Bo's reaction. I don't blame him one bit. The next move, Amir Williams just did it. You know, if you listen to all the geniuses, nobody on this court's getting paid except for the referees. I completely disagree with that. Scholarships payment, not expenses, but the referees are paid a lot, shouldn't miss it.
Ross hits a 3, and that's the first Ohio State lead since the first 2.5 minutes of the game.
Sam Decker missed a switch, a simple switch. He just missed it. And good for Ross, shot the ball from the spot that he loves.
A 9-0 Buckeye run. Kaminsky shut down underneath. The tip follow, though, inside by Nigel Hayes, and it's a 1-point game.
A great play by Hayes. He saw Kaminsky being double, so he went to the front of the rim. No block, tipped it in.
Amir Williams right around Kaminsky.
Williams can play when he gets enthusiastic. Nothing in life is ever done without great enthusiasm, or nothing's ever done really well. And that time's the first time I ever saw Amir Williams react with enthusiasm.
Hayes got it.
But you got to put your hand up on defense. And you got to be active and show the same enthusiasm on defense. Great move by Nigel Hayes, facing up, knocking it in.
After a 3.5-minute Wisconsin drought, they've scored on back-to-back trips, and another answer from Lenzel Smith Jr.
A straight down screen left wing. Smith Jr. just came off real confident, knocked it out.
Buckeyes are now 6 for 6 from the field to start the half. Hand check called on Thompson, and will step aside. 3-point lead, though, for the Buckeyes.
Do it with enthusiasm. Watch this. This is quick. This is strong. This is enthusiastic. Look at that. Play that way, Amir, now on the other end. Oh, boy. Hands are down. You get beat. Play with enthusiasm.
I will. Welcome back with today's Wendy's Wooden Watch. A closer look at Sam Decker in double figures in 18 of Wisconsin's 21 games so far this season. But there seems to be a pretty clear line in the sand in your mind, Dan Dakich, as to the players that are on the midseason top 25 list, the players that are really in contention for the award.
Well, I think Doug McDermott's going to win the award. My line in the sand is whoever votes for the Wooden Award. What are you, nuts? You don't have Stauskas, you don't have Gary Harris on that? Take those votes away and give them to you and me.
Well, Aaron Kraft is also on that midseason top 25 for the Wooden Award, and he just created a turnover as he got the ball off Keening's leg, knocked out of bounds, and so Ohio State with a 3-point lead and the ball. The first Wisconsin turnover in the last 14 minutes. And shockingly, it's Aaron Kraft that makes the play happen. Ross fades away. In and out.
Still a good shot. That's how Ross is not settling for threes. He's taking his man, backing him down. Just happened to shoot it in bad luck, in and out. Good move by Ross. Got to keep doing it, though. Great cut. Great cut.
Great pass by Kaminsky to Gosser.
Gosser on the backside recognized everybody to help, had their heads turned. What a great cut. And as you said, a terrific pass.
Foul called on the drive by Kraft.
You want to see good basketball? Watch Gosser right here. Ball goes to the post. Lenzel Smith turns his head, doesn't see. Bam, gets it behind him. Always have to know what's behind you. Kaminsky did and delivered it. Great basketball right there.
A foul called on Bronson Koenig. That's his third. And he has played a lot of minutes today. Amir Williams in the post, an offensive foul called, and Thad Matta can't believe it. Kaminsky drew the charge.
I'll be shocked if that wasn't a flop. Amir Williams is big, but he don't post up that strong. Let's see. That's a flop. A good flop. All right, they're battling a little bit. Referees in this game have had a really hard time with post play. I'm not saying they should have called a foul. It was offensive foul when they got their arms tangled up. A good ref would have just stopped play and made them unwind, but got fooled by the flop.
That's the first Buckeye turnover in 14 minutes.
I got to go into Kaminsky here.
And check called on Ross on the drive by Ben Brust. That's the third on LaQuinton Ross.
That was not called by the official. That was called by the referee. Bo Ryan was in the ref's ear, and as soon as the ref made the call, he turned and told Bo Ryan about it, which is exactly why I said what I said. That was called by Bo Ryan.
Hayes forces one up and gets it to go.
What a move. What a freshman. That kid has upped his level, Nigel Hayes from Toledo.
Kraft from the elbow. No good. So Wisconsin has the lead back in the ball with 12.5 to go. Kaminsky, Sam Thompson, caught on his hip, finds Jackson. That's an up and down. Kraft came out, had position, and Trey Jackson tried to draw the foul. And Lamont Simpson says no.
I'm stunned. I mean, you know, all this, if you touch somebody on the perimeter, it's a foul nonsense that we're going through in college basketball. Kraft clearly off balance, turned sideways. That's a foul on Kraft, and it's not even in question. I mean, all the silliness of touch fouls that don't matter, that would matter, and they call the travel.
So now Ohio State, after a break, has it back with a chance to take the lead. Loving for three, too strong. Kaminsky, step back triple. That's way short. Shannon Scott tries to go coast to coast, can't finish. Della Valle on the offensive glass. Gives the Buckeyes the lead back.
Great action underneath the rim. Great action. Della Valle, right place, right time. Nice push by Ohio State.
And the three-point shooting continues to be the Achilles heel for Wisconsin. Normally their strength, they've missed their last 8 threes. And now a foul called away from the ball. We'll step aside. Buckeyes by 1. All right, Bram, thanks very much. Bob Wischusen and Dan Dakich with 2 programs trying to stop the bleeding. Wisconsin's only win in their last 5 against Purdue. Ohio State's only win in their last 6 against Illinois. These are 2 teams that have combined to lose 7 of their last 9 games. And they are trying to get back on track. Nigel Hayes in the posts. He draws the foul. Again, this was number 3 against number 4 in America if we would have played this game 3 weeks ago. And now, Dan Dakich, they have both fallen into the middle of the pack of a Big Ten. How good is this league?
I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I know everybody says, well, it's parity and the bottom teams are coming up. You know, early Michigan was supposed to drop. Michigan has found itself without Mitch McGary. Wisconsin, you said it, number, 2, 3, and 4 in the country at one point. And now they don't look like that. I go by the look test, and however anybody else wants to go, that's fine. They don't look nearly where they were early in the year with the crisp ball passing and shot and making shots. I mean, they're not making shots. They are not a top 20 team. So my answer to you is, I think there's good teams. I think there's potentially a great team in Michigan State, but I'm not sure overall this is a great, great league.
Scott gets shut down in the lane.
That's what I'm talking about. One possession he does well, the other possession is something that just makes you shake your head.
Gasser for three. Knocks it down. Timeout called by Thad Matta. .43 to go in regulation time. It's a three-point game, and conference play continues with a doubleheader this afternoon here on ESPN. The Jayhawks head to Austin to take on the now ranked Texas Longhorns at 4. And then at 6:30, the Carrier Dome clash between C.J. Fair and Syracuse, and Jabari Parker and the Blue Devils. The Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Saturday Primetime presented by DirecTV. And all of a sudden, Amadeo De La Valle looks like he's ready for primetime.
Rock me Amadeo, baby. This is deep, and then he goes 3 goggles after it. You see it right there. This kid averaged 5 points a game. What I like about him is he's doing a lot more things. You see right there, hitting the glass. He's doing a lot more than just being a shooter. He's been big time last 2 nights out for Ohio State.
He has 11. LaQuinton Ross leads the Buckeyes with 13. Ben Brust has 12. Nigel Hayes has 10. They lead Wisconsin. Slipping to the goal and fumbling it was Trey McDonald off the pass from De La Valle.
That's too bad, because McDonald had played a really good first half. You like to see a kid that gets a chance play well. And by the way, I know it was Amadeus, so when you kill me on Twitter later.
Decker can't hit. And there's a foul called on Nigel Hayes on the rebound. That's his first. 3rd team foul called against Wisconsin.
A Wisconsin foul is on Nigel Hayes, his first.
That's a stud right there. That's a kid coming out of Toledo. Turned down Ohio State to go to Wisconsin. He and Loving were teammates on the All-Ohio Red AAU team. Really good basketball, summer basketball program. Great basketball program, really.
De La Valle in and out. The tip follow won't go. Another try by McDonald. And eventually it's Hayes outletting to Trey Jackson. Hayes tried to spin around McDonald, and the foul called on McDonald. Team foul number 4, or check that, team foul number 6 against the Buckeyes. And the 3rd on McDonald.
Tell you what, if I'm Wisconsin, I'm going right back on the block to Hayes. Hayes has some juice to him right now, Bob. He wanting the ball, and he's much quicker than McDonald.
Well, now Wisconsin will be in the bonus the rest of the way, too. And they're a very good free throw shooting team. Hayes over McDonald. Yes.
Telling you.
He's gaining confidence. You can see it. He's 5 for 5 from the field. Loving takes a bump from Decker, and he'll go to the line. So freshman making big, aggressive plays at both ends for both teams.
Yeah, and as I said, high school or AAU teammates, but Sam Decker just didn't keep his feet moving, and really, you got to love what Loving's doing. I hate that I just said that, but you got to really like what Loving is doing. He's a freshman. He's been better in practice. He's coming on in games, and he just took, the wooden watch candidate Decker right to the rim.
Well, Loving continues that conveyor belt of high school players of the year in the state of Ohio, going to play for Thad Matta and the Buckeyes.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, really, why wouldn't you? Great coaching staff. They develop players. Ohio is a great basketball state. Terrific coaches. The AAU programs are top-notch. Loving played for one of the all-time best, Ed Heichel. Nobody better than Ed Heichel at St. John's in Ohio, in Toledo.
And Loving had been shooting 82% at the free throw line before those misses.
That first one was bad.
Hayes, another jumper. It goes again! for the freshman Nigel Hayes.
Hayes' brother plays football at Ohio. Really athletic, tough family.
Loving on the drive. Draws contact again. Wave off the bucket. Offensive foul. That's his second.
Just be in the right spot. Turned his shoulder a little bit, Kaminsky did, but his feet were still. He was outside the arc. Just, look, be off your man, be into the lane, and you can pick up charges and steals, and Kaminsky did.
Is this game in a danger zone right now for the Buckeyes?
I don't think so. I don't. I think that Ohio State's too experienced, but they need to get a handle on Hayes. And I'll tell you what, for Wisconsin, they got to find somebody else now. You can't just rely on Hayes to win this for you down the stretch.
Hayes wants the ball in the post. He's giving the eyes to Trey Jackson, saying, get it over to Ben Bruss so you can throw it to me in the post. Jackson instead puts one up one-on-one.
Terrible
and Scott's
possession.
got the rebound.
Terrible possession because of what you said, Bob. They never even explored Hayes on the block.
Williams inside, and he'll go to the free throw line. Nigel Hayes has 11 points in the second half.
All basically from the same spot. It's not a democracy. Get him the rock.
Where would you rather be than Madison on a Saturday? Bob Wischusen, Dan Dakich in Madtown, a 7-point lead for Wisconsin. They can't make a three, but step just inside the arc and give it to Nigel Hayes.
You know, all the basketball statistician guys say that inside the three is a bad shot. Yeah? Tell you what inside the three right there has done by Nigel Hayes has put Wisconsin up and in control of this game now. A lot of time left, but that shot right there mid-range for Nigel Hayes has opened this game up for Wisconsin. And that kid, I'll tell you what, that kid has gotten better during conference play. You're not supposed to do that as a freshman. You're supposed to go backwards. That kid bided his time, played some on and off early in the season, and he's become in this game, Bob, as you said last possession, their go-to guy.
Well, Bo Ryan told us that physically he is a player that changes the game, but that he's perceptive in a basketball intelligence way that not many freshmen he's had are. Have you seen that in his game?
100%, and I've seen it off the court too. He is the master of useless trivia, and he's a jokester, which shows me great intelligence. Like, I think people that are funny are smart, and he's really smart with both off the court, how he handles himself, and on the court with what he does. Like right here, takes his time.
And he'll go back to the free throw line. Women's college basketball is back tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. Two of the top teams of the country. Dynamic guard Kayla McBride takes the Irish into Cameron to take on the Blue Devils. It's Notre Dame Duke tomorrow at 2 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN.
Saw a picture today of Skylar Diggins, former Notre Dame star, with Spike Lee at the Notre Dame or at the ESPN party at the Super Bowl on the red carpet.
That foul, by the way, was on the Quentin Ross. That's his fourth. So he'll go to the bench along with Della Valle. Tim Thompson and Lenzel Smith Jr. are both back in.
Well, Lenzel Smith Jr. is a senior and Sam Thompson as a veteran junior. They need, in the last 7.5 minutes, they need to use what they have. Lenzel Smith shooting the basketball and Thompson being an athlete on the backboard and defensively.
Well, you mentioned Amir Williams as well. 2 years ago, you've got a McDonald's All-American in Jared Sullinger. You've got a McDonald's All-American last year in Deshaun Thomas. Places to go for scoring. Where does this group now go for scoring down the stretch when they need it?
That's been the huge problem, and it's right here. It's off of drives, which aren't really there. You see, they don't know where to go. They're trying to create an opening for each other off penetration.
There's a triple for Shannon Scott off the feed from Aaron Crabb.
You know, he's the guy we talked about in the first half. If Ohio State's going to win this game, he has to be huge. Both ends of the floor, and huge not only making shots, but making great decisions.
Nigel Hayes spins on Thompson. Here comes the double team. He reposts. Now he finds Brust.
Man.
In and out. Offensive rebound, Kaminsky. it on the way up. Trey Jackson comes away with the ball.
Kaminsky's going to have to knock in a shot here if he moves.
Hayes will go back to the free throw line. Out of the double team, the freshman draws the foul.
Good offensive rebounders get great position. And watch Kaminsky right here. Kaminsky's going to be, you kind of can't see him. He's right there. Watch him step around and in front of Amir Williams. Now he becomes a defensive rebounder. That's just fundamentally sound, smart, and tough.
And the foul trouble continues to pile up for Thad Matta. That's the 4th on Amir Williams. So now Williams and Ross, the 2 leading front court scorers for the Buckeyes, both have 4 fouls with 6 minutes to go. And you're 6 down. And Hayes could add to the lead here.
Well, Hayes has put them all in a trick bag. He made a great pass out, which led to the rebound by Kaminsky, and then with great patience goes to the line.
They actually just changed the foul. They'll give that to Sam Thompson. So that's a big one for the Buckeyes. That's Thompson's 2nd, but it moves Amir Williams back to 3 instead of 4 personals, and he stays on the floor. Kaminsky, another offensive rebound. His pocket picked though by Kraft. Thompson able to finish.
Again, that's what Thompson has to be. A defender, a slasher, and an offensive and defensive rebounder.
And Trey Jackson was shaken up on the play. Nigel Hayes gets a big hand as he goes to the bench, but it's Brust coming together with Trayvon Jackson, and that's how Trey Jackson was hurt.
Big possession. I'd go right at Amir Williams. Amir Williams has given up position pretty well. Given up position pretty easy.
Steal at midcourt by Shannon Scott. Over Gasser. No good. Lenzel Smith Jr. takes it away from Jackson. And there's a foul call. That's the 6th team foul on Wisconsin. So now we'll shoot free throws the rest of the way.
Hey, how quick was Shannon Scott? He just didn't finish. And then great officiating. I've been on the officials. But great officiating, letting Lenzel Smith battle for the basketball. He just went up. And just because you're behind somebody and you go up over them doesn't mean it's a foul. Lenzel Smith went over, got his hands on the ball. Good no call. Really good.
Thompson over Brust. No good. Amir Williams back taps his own putback miss out of bounds. What a terrific start this is to what's going to be a great day of college basketball with these games coming up.
So much fun. Kansas, I think, the most talented team in the country, and I like Duke to go into the Carrier Dome and win. I'm saying double digits. I've been wrong once before.
I remember that time.
I think it's mid-'80s, Bob. I'm not sure we knew each other, but I'm telling you, Kaminsky's got to get a shot.
He thought about it. Moves into the mid-range and picks up his dribble. Touch pass to the corner to Gasser. He'll put one up. That's no good. Weak side rebound for Jackson, and he backs it out.
Well, I think Kaminsky made a bad play. I think Kaminsky needs to shoot that, knock it in, run down the other end of the court.
Shot clock at 10. Becker's been quiet. In foul trouble in the first half, double teamed here. Jackson for 3. In and out, and Amir Williams has the rebound.
Ball stayed on the left side, Bob. It's like the ball knows. If it's not reversed, it won't go in, I'm telling you.
That multiple times today.
Yeah, when the ball swings, good things happen for Wisconsin.
Kraft tries a 3. And knocks it down.
A lot of people not liking Aaron Kraft. I'll take him anytime, anywhere, and you know who else will? Every coach in America. High school, grade school, AAU, college will take Aaron Kraft. I don't know about NBA.
What does it say when you've got no field goals? You're on the road at the Kohl Center. You're scoreless, and you're willing with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go to step up and take that shot in a 4-point game.
It says you have right there the most heart of any kid in college basketball. It says that, in my opinion, if I needed to win a game, everybody in college hoops, I'm taking him first. Kill me all you want. I know his stats aren't great. And I'll tell you who else agrees with me. Basically every coach in the country. That kid, the plays he made, he devoured Decker down here on the other end when they tried to post him up. He does so many things that people don't see. He's not played great, but I'll still take him anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
Nigel Hayes back in for Wisconsin. Now it's a 1-point game. Ohio State trailed by 7 with 7:50 to go, but they've put together a 9-3 run since then to make it a 1-point game. I think that was right at the moment we said, is this a danger zone for Ohio State? You said no.
No,
Foul called on Lenzel Smith away from the ball, so it will be free throws when we come back as Aaron Craft continues to add to his all-time Ohio State leading statistics. Well, Bram, you mentioned off a loss. That's what we have for both of these teams here in Madison. A 1-point game with 3.5 minutes to go. But the Buckeyes, they've lost 5 of their last 6. They're coming off of a home loss to Penn State in overtime on Wednesday night. It was an 18-game win streak that Ohio State had over Penn State before that loss. And how about Wisconsin? Off of their loss on Wednesday night to Northwestern here at the Kohl Center. Northwestern had never beaten Wisconsin at the Kohl Center. So you've got 2 teams coming off of historic losses, trying to get a win, Dan, to put their seasons back on track. And it's anybody's game with 3.5 left.
53-1. That's what Thad Matta was against unranked Big Ten opponents at home. Now he's 53-2. That is amazing.
Craft gets shut down in the lane, doesn't panic, and gets it back. A little head fake around Hayes, and the finish at the rim for Aaron Craft.
That's too much right there. Nigel Hayes came out, and Aaron Craft recognized it, gave it up, got it back, and it was over.
Decker tries to find Hayes, broken up by Shannon Scott. 20 to shoot. Wisconsin without a field goal for coming up on 4 minutes now. And as a result, we're tied at 55.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, Bob, when Hayes got going, okay, that's great. But somebody else needed to, and nobody has. That's why I did not think it was a danger time for Ohio State, because Wisconsin's still unsure offensively. Somebody's going to need to make a big shot here, and I got to believe it's going to be Kaminsky.
Hard to get the ball in bounds against Ohio State.
Best in the country.
So Bo Ryan has to call a timeout, and he just put Decker back on the bench. How about February of 2011? Jordan Taylor had 21 of his 27 in the second half, rallying Wisconsin from a 15-point deficit against #1 Ohio State, and kept Division I without a perfect team since Indiana in 75-76. Wisconsin topping a #1 opponent for the first time since 1962, when it was also Ohio State. But look at Bo Ryan at home against Big Ten opponents here at the Kohl Center. 93-13 in the league.
Totally amazing. People don't remember back in the 80s, 70s, before, where really Wisconsin basketball was an automatic win for teams coming in here. And Dick Bennett, Bo Ryan, what they've done here has been nothing short of amazing. The consistency is straight awesome. You know, we got the 2 winningest coaches by percentage in the history of the Big Ten here.
Hard to get the ball in against Ohio State.
That's a walk.
And a foul called on Sam Thompson at midcourt. That'll put the last player you want to see at the free throw line if you're a Buckeye fan. The 4th called on Thompson. And Ben Brust at 95% goes back to the line.
Line for the Badgers, Ben Brust, shooting 2.
Wisconsin hit their first 10 consecutive free throws. They've been shaky since. They are now 6 for their last 14. And that is an eclipse as Brust misses.
Had 19 in a row going into that shot.
Only 1 of 2 at the line for Brust. It's a 1-point game.
you're Ohio State, you try to get the same switch if you can. Ross setting the screen, get Hayes on to Kraft. Good move not switching. That's what they want.
Kraft to Ross. He rises up. That's off the mark.
That was bad offense by Ross. When Kraft drove, Ross needed to cut to the rim. He'd have had a layup. And that's what I was saying earlier. Ross settles for jumpers, three-point shots too often. He cuts to the basket. He would have had himself, at minimum, a 10-foot jump shot.
Ten to shoot for the Badgers. Trey Jackson with 5 on the shot clock. A lot of dribbling. That pass deflected to Hayes in the corner. Throws a wild one up.
Man, did Kraft block out Kaminsky on the switch. Kaminsky took him to the block. Kraft having none of it.
Kraft hesitates, drives inside, draws the foul. Go against Trayvon Jackson. So that will put Aaron Kraft at the free throw line. Number 1 in Ohio State history in assists and steals, in the top 10 in both of those statistical categories in Big Ten history as well. The first Ohio State player ever with 1,000 points, 500 assists, and 200 steals now standing at the line.
And won 100 games quicker than anybody in Ohio State history.
Toss in the fact that this year he could become a 4-time Big Ten academic All-American.
I told the head of IU, their medical center, just admit him. Just admit him. You want a guy like that.
Dr. Kraft.
I mean, that's what he wants to do. Just admit him right now.
Aaron Kraft has scored the last 7 Ohio State points, the most crucial portion of the game. He was scoreless up until that point. All 7 of his points have come with under 4 minutes to go.
Bob, and he's called out every switch on defense. He's made the switch, kept bigger guys off the block. He devoured Decker in the post. He came up with a steal. He came up with a rebound in traffic. So, say what you want, but I'll take Aaron Kraft, and I'll get...
Cross to Decker. 1:15 to play in a 1-point game. Where does the offense come from for Wisconsin?
How about that?
Great defense again by Kraft. The ball out of bounds with 8 to shoot. It'll stay with Wisconsin.
Smart by Thad Matta. Under 2 minutes, you can go to the monitor and check who it was off of.
And it looks like they will now.
I think he's going to find that it was off. I believe it was Williams, but worth a try by Thad Matta.
That's Ray Perrone on the left, Lamont Simpson on the right, taking a look at whether or not this did indeed go off of Wisconsin or it looked like it was tipped by Williams.
Yep.
But you're right, smart play if you're the opposing head coach to at least ask to take a look. And this actually bought Thad Matta, actually both coaches, a timeout as they confer with their teams.
Now, key here, number 1 for Wisconsin is getting the ball in and then getting the right matchup. And truth of the matter is, the right matchup is Hayes.
And a foul call. Sam Thompson fouls Hayes. So that will put Nigel Hayes at the free throw line. And it's the double bonus, team foul number 10. And that will foul out Sam Thompson.
I watched that. Thompson was guarding Hayes. Nigel Hayes just blasted him underneath the basket. Watch this. Watch this. Now, how is that a foul on Sam Thompson? Because he has his arm around him. What are you supposed to do? You just fall down and give up a layup?
Or you could, if you're Sam Thompson, commit a foul and make him shoot free throws.
I guess, but right, which is what happened. But
a 59% free throw shooter hits the first, tied with 1:08 to go. And what a second half Nigel Hayes has had. In and out, and we stay tied at 57. Coming up on 1 minute to play, Baylor, Oklahoma State is on deck. A foul called up top, and that will go against Nigel Hayes.
Same foul. Except out on the perimeter. Hayes was coming to set a ball screen, or excuse me, Williams was coming to set a ball screen, and Hayes was holding on to him.
That's only the second foul called on Hayes, as Decker is being used, it seems like, in a offense-defense situation. Once it gets to the point where Wisconsin's going to have the ball back, Bo Ryan puts Decker back on the bench. 1-1 for Williams.
Well, what he's doing is he's trusting Nigel Hayes offensively more than what he's trusting Sam Decker, because he wants 3 ball handlers against the pressure of Ohio State.
Well, that's Ryan with the substitution pattern telling you that his leading scorer right now needs to be on the bench in the last minute when his team has the ball.
Yeah, because of the effectiveness of Nigel Hayes.
Wisconsin.
So a timeout called by Wisconsin. They trail by 1. Last minute of play. And let's go back to the studio and check in with Bram. All right, Bram, thanks very much. Wisconsin has the ball. Ohio State has the arrow. And neither team with a foul to give, but both teams with timeouts left. Although the Badgers continue, Dan Dakich, to be in offensive Never Never Land. They are without a field goal coming up on 6 minutes.
If they go inside here, if they go inside after the ball is reversed, they will get an open look for a 3 coming outside. Inside to outside key here, I believe, for Wisconsin. Tough to drive these 3 guys. Looking to go to Kaminsky. Kaminsky certainly the guy they talked about out of the timeout.
This crowd is tense. You can feel it. Coming up on a half minute to go. 13 to shoot. There's Kaminsky in rhythm. No good. Amir Williams has the rebound. The shot clock is turned off. Williams is fouled, and he'll go to the line at the other end.
Well, you could tell out of timeout the way Kaminsky was looking that they were going to go to him. They didn't get it to him on the block. End of the clock, they said a little on big down screen. Again, where do they like to shoot from? Top of the key, corners. Kaminsky got a jumper from the top of the key, just didn't knock it down.
Well, Kaminsky is now 2 for his last 13 from 3. Are you surprised that as cold as he has been, that would be where they would go?
You know, I haven't seen practice, but there's 2 theories. Don't let him shoot it or he's due. You know, one of the 2.
Still a 1-1 for Williams, who hits the first. That was team foul number 9.
Now, if he hits this, you don't help on Nigel Hayes on the block. You make him score. You don't help him leave a 3 shooter.
No good.
Oh, he fouled.
No call. Gasser ends up with the rebound, but it certainly looked like Williams could have been called for a foul. 2-point game, 18 seconds to go.
Oh,
and
the
a foul
makeup.
called on Shannon Scott.
Oh, the makeup. They missed the call after the free throw. And on a little touch with the drive. Oh, my goodness. When nobody touched him.
And the look of collective disbelief everywhere on the Ohio State bench. So Trayvon Jackson with a chance to tie the game with 16.5 to go.
Coaches die every possession, and refs just pack their bags and go to the next game. How do you call that?
Jackson can't tie it. A breakout for Shannon Scott. There's Lenzel Smith. He can't lay it in. No one's home. He falls and travels. 8.4 to go. What should have been a gimme for Wisconsin, or rather for Ohio State, ends up as Badgers basketball with a chance. Wow.
Full timeout.
And Wisconsin will spend their last timeout. 8.5 seconds remaining.
Oh my, on the miss. Kraft gets it down the floor to Shannon Scott. Nobody really hustling for Wisconsin except for Frost. And Amir Williams, Lenzel Smith collide, and a trap.
What an unlucky break
Wow.
for Ohio State as Amir Williams bumps Lenzel Smith, knocks him off balance, and causes the turnover that gives the ball back to Wisconsin.
Right now, if you're Ohio State, you have to keep the ball, Bob, on the sideline as best you can. Ball in the middle is really dangerous in these situations. Let me put it this way. I can't imagine that a referee will call a touch foul number 1. So you can be a little bit aggressive, but the more you can keep it on the side, and when it goes to the side, the weak side defenders have to make sure that they don't come over too far. They've got to get a block out because you cannot get a weak side tip. If you're Ohio State, or excuse me, if you're Wisconsin, you want a high ball screen deep to free a driver, take it to the rim, figure it out later.
And look at the group that's on the floor now for Wisconsin. Decker is back in. Kaminsky's on the bench. So last time, Bo Ryan ran a play for Kaminsky in a crucial point in the game. Now he's not even on the floor, and we were talking about Sam Decker not being on the floor.
Well,
he's back in.
That tells you they want to drive it. Ohio State has to keep the ball on the side as best they can. And Wisconsin's got to get it in the middle, get a ball screen somewhere, and go.
No timeouts left for Wisconsin. Jackson down to 2 seconds to go. He has to put one up. It's Decker. Got it off. No good. Ohio State finds a way on the road. And you don't think there's emotion in this win for Thad Matta? Both teams were desperate. And it's the Buckeyes, losers of 5 of their last 6 and coming off of an overtime home loss to Penn State. They win at the Kohl Center.
Well, ball got in the middle of the floor, but against the wrong guy. Trey Jackson could get nothing. Ross got back in time, bad shot. Right on line, though. Weren't able to get anything good because they went against the wrong guy. Can't go against Kraft in that situation.
And Dan Dakich, how about this one? That's the first time under Bo Ryan ever that Wisconsin has lost 3 in a row in this building.
Well, you saw from that guy right there by hugging Jake Diebler, his assistant, how much this game meant to both of these guys.
The Saturday Showcase continues, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Time for Baylor and Oklahoma State.
Visit UWBadgers.com. Wisconsin basketball. See what happens.